Hello, Bert Kreischer. How are you?
Good. How you doing?
Doing great, man. Thank you for taking the time today. I appreciate it.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you.
So you're coming to the Hanover Theater here in Worcester, Massachusetts, March 25th, the Berty Boy Relapse Tour. Let's talk about that later because right now I want to talk disc golf with you.
Oh my God! Come on, man.
I
could talk all day.
Oh, me too. I could. Seriously, I started playing like 5-6 years ago, and if I did not play disc golf, you'd be reading about me in the news doing something awful, like shooting up a mall or something. It brings me so much peace and joy in my life. And I saw you on social media, and at first I was like, "Hey, is he ripping on disc golf?" And then I realized you've gotten hooked on it, man. How long have you been playing?
So I started playing in '95 in college, but this is before they had, pins up to throw at. So we would just throw at mailboxes. We'd pick the goal, throw it a mailbox at a fountain, something like that. Everyone only had one disc. We didn't have a driver, a putter, mid-range, none of that. And so we were in Texas, and someone's like, "Hey, do you want to play disc golf?" And we were like, "Yeah, let's play." We went out, and within the first hole and my first throw, I had the biggest smile on my face, and I went, "Oh my God, I forgot this is exactly how I felt in college. Carefree, out, a little high, maybe a cold beer in me." And it was one of the, and so I've played just about every single day since then.
Oh yeah.
And now I'm in a lucky place where like Innova sent me a bunch of discs, Discraft sent me a bunch of discs,
nice.
Squatch sent me a bag, and all the pros are hitting me up. Being like, yesterday I played with Paige Pierce, 5-time world champion, and she was like, "Hey, do you want to come out and play around?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she told me like so much stuff I'm doing wrong that you're like that it fixes your game instantly. I love it. I absolutely love it. It's my favorite thing to do in the afternoon while we're on tour.
It's amazing. I'll tell you, I dream about it. I've woken myself up and my wife throwing in my dream and like waking up with my arm like in motion. It's just I think about it all the time. And listen, you're going to be here in Worcester. The number one ranked disc golf course in the United States is 10 minutes away from the venue.
No way.
Maple Hill Disc Golf. They have the Maple Hill Open there every year. I'm surprised one of the pros hasn't hit you up already on that. But, if you have time while you're in the area, I would love for you to be my guest. I'm a member there. We can go out, throw a round before your show. It would be fantastic. It's a beautiful
I love that.
place.
I would absolutely love that. I feel like yesterday I pulled my arm, trying to bring my elbow through. And I changed so much about my backhand that that I pulled my arm last night. So I'm like bummed. My arm. I got it in a brace right now, but like I played so good yesterday, and then all of a sudden, my very last throw, as I threw, I heard a pop, and I went, "Oh man, I'm gonna be in traction for a while." But I would love that. I would absolutely love that. It is one of my favorite things to do in the world. So, by the way, look, there's not a lot of follow through I have when it comes to stuff. People are always like, when you're coming down, we should go get a beer, and I'm like,
Yeah,
my friend's a chef. He wants to go get dinner. You want to play disc golf? Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Let's do that.
Yeah, I know, right? Yes, absolutely. Well, that's awesome, man. I'm glad, and you're one of the OGs. I mean, you started playing back in the '90s. Jesus, but I mean, what do you like to throw? I know it's different for every course and every hole, but what disc do you go to the most?
My go-to is a Shrike.
Okay.
That is like a 173.5 Shrike. That's my go-to. But I'll tell you right now, man, I have been, especially with some of these courses where it's not too long, I've been going the Shrike, or you know what else I like is the Discraft. Discraft has a soul that I feel like flies beautifully. But I swear to God, man, I go to my Wombat nonstop.
Yes.
I'm in this. That Wombat is like the easiest to maneuver disc that I've ever played with.
If you throw that just right, it floats like a Cadillac Fleetwood, man. It is such a beautiful flight, and I love the Wombat too. I'm with you on that one.
I find myself going to that so often. I mean, my goal is to get to Monsoon, or there's one. Any disc that they tell me this isn't for the novice. That's the disc I want to learn how to throw.
Yes, exactly. The same
they
way.
give me a couple of those, and they're like super understable. You got to really like playing with Paige yesterday. She was like, "All right, what we want to do right now is throw an Anheuser that hyzers into the pin." And I'm like, "Okay, I'm not really sure how to do that." And she was like, "Here, this is what you do." And I could mess with that wombat. It was almost like a high school girlfriend. I knew what to do with it. You know.
That's awesome. I throw something that not a lot of people throw, and they stop making them, and it always gets a real reaction out of people when I pull it out of the bag. And it's a Aerobee Arrow. And I don't know if you've ever seen one of these. Some people call it the dog dish. Some people call it the lid. And it's the most thick, awkwardly shaped, kind of like me, actually. It's a thick, awkwardly shaped disc that looks like a small version of the lid of a 5-pound coleslaw bucket. It really does.
My God.
And it weighs a ton, but I'm telling you, man, it like putt and approach, it's unbelievable. You can get that thing, once that thing's broken in and you got a wrangle on it, you can make it go in all sorts of directions. It's beautiful. But I pull it out of the bag and people go, "What the f*** is that? That's a cheat disc. You can't use that." It's like, no, it's been grandfathered into whatever, and people either like love it or they hate it. One guy got really angry at me when I was playing a team challenge, and he was like, "You can't use that. That's a cheat disc." I said, it's accepted by the PDGA or whatever. He goes, "That's bullshit, man. That's bullshit." And he went and he complained.
Wait, what's the disc?
It's called an Aerobee Arrow. Now they stopped making them, so you got to look online, and I think like they're going up to like $100 now, which is crazy.
So one of my favorite things to do is we've been going to the disc golf stores that we're in, like when we go to a town.
Yeah,
we don't always travel. Like we travel on a bus. We have our own pin. We have like probably 100 discs on the bus. But my favorite thing is to go in and just buy new discs.
I know it's addictive.
Like, what's cool? I got a Lone Star. Lone Star has this. It's like a Texas company. They've got this super overstable driver, 173, 173, and I'm telling you, man, I can turn that thing over so great. But it's like yesterday I was playing with Paige, and she goes, "What driver is this?" And I was like, "I don't know. I got it in Texas."
Yeah, right. It doesn't matter if it works for you, then use it. You know, and it's like, people say, "Oh, you should use this, you should use this," but it's just like whatever works for you, man. That's the beauty of disc golf. It's like you've got your own style.
What I love more than anything is going out and like in LA, there's a course out in Burbank. Going out in the morning at like 6 a.m. when the sun's coming up, playing by myself and putting a little pep in my step and jogging to my discs. I don't feel like I'm running at all. I get so excited to go see where I landed. I throw 3 discs. I run to all of them. That's my favorite thing is playing by yourself, throwing 3 discs every hole, really like practicing and getting to know your discs. I mean,
it is. I love it too. The group I go out with, we go out super early in the morning for that same reason, so we don't run into anybody on the course and kind of have it to ourselves. It's a beautiful thing, man. And
the Aerobee Arrow, I just thought.
Yes.
Read reviews right here.
Oh yeah, people hate.
It's under 6 discs.
It is thick. It's totally like you put it. When I first held on to it, I'm like, how am I going to throw this thing? But I'm telling you, I took right to it, man. It's a lot of fun. There's only a few people that I know throw it that I've run into. It's very rare.
What stinks is you play with pros, and then they're like, "Hey man, I want to give you a disc. It's my disc. I want to tell me if I think you'll like it. It's super stable. It flies like a Greek plate at a wedding." And then they get it, and then they sign it for you at the end of the round, and you're like, "Oh man, now I can't throw it. If I lose it, that's the part that stinks."
Have you gotten any aces? Have you aced?
No, I came really close. It's on my Instagram. I came really close in. All these courses blend into one. I think it was in. I have no idea where we were. We were in Richmond, Virginia.
Oh, nice.
I think
nice.
And it was a pretty accessible course in that nothing was super far. Everything like 230, and I had one where I flew right past it. I mean, right past it, and the feeling of going, come on, and then it missed it, and then it flew past it by like 30 feet, and I couldn't make the putt. I ended up bogeying it.
It is. It's a roller coaster of emotions. It really is. But I always hear the worst day on the disc golf course is better than your best day at the office. Dude. And
what's crazy is that Paige really taught me how to putt yesterday. But if you're gonna putt, you have to go for it. You got to throw a dart at it. And if you're great like Paige, you just nail it every time. But if you stink like me, then you go like to 20 feet past the pin. You have another difficult putt.
Yeah, it plays with your head. Like, I can't do that either. I see guys like do that. It's a frozen rope right to the chains, and it's just like I can't throw it like that, man. I'm too apprehensive. It's like because I'm thinking that, and then especially if there's water behind it or something, it's like, are you kidding me? I'm not.
My favorite tee boxes are over water. That adds such a fun element of. I love the gamble of that, where you pull out your good disc and you're like, we're going for it.
Oh man, I do the opposite. I pull out a disc. I'm like, if I'm going to lose one, I'm just going to lose this one. Well, then you'll love Maple Hill. You'll love Maple Hill because they got a couple of great water throws over there. So,
by the way, this interview is indicative of how I'm promoting shows lately.
Oh yeah,
it's like I'm like, hey guys, I'm going to be in Birmingham, Memphis, and Evansville. Do you guys know any good disc golf courses? And everyone's like, are you just touring and playing disc golf? I'm like, oh no, I'm doing stand up at night. But in the day, I'm doing disc golf.
I'm doing stand-up at night to support my disc golf habit during the day.
Yeah.
Right? Absolutely. Well, listen, I'd love to talk disc golf for the whole time, but I got to ask a couple other questions or I wouldn't be doing my job. So, are you making a movie with Mark Hamil?
Yeah. Mark Hamill plays my dad. We did a movie with Legendary. We shot it in Serbia for 3 months, and Mark Hamil plays my dad, and it was a great experience. It's based on my story of getting involved with the Russian mafia, and it's kind of a graduation of that, and kind of meshes in with today's life. But it turned out amazing. We just locked picture. Everyone's super excited, and Mark Hamill kills it. I keep saying to people, this is going to be the best movie Mark Hamill's ever made. Everyone's going to go, this is his best movie.
That's what I would play with my head. I mean, I don't know about you. I'm kind of a science fiction nerd, and like it's all of a sudden I'm making a movie with Luke Skywalker. I'd be freaking out about that.
Oh, I got on a private jet.
Oh my!
With him in Van Nuys, and we flew in a private jet from Van Nuys to Serbia, and that is when it got real. That's the first time I went. Oh, I'm on a plane with Luke Skywalker. This doesn't go down. Like, I know how good he is in these fighter pilots. Like, he's so generous. Like, he really is so generous. And if you have any questions about Star Wars, he really fills your basket,
Oh, that's nice.
And makes you feel like you're not bothering him. He's a great dude. I really love that dude.
That's nice because sometimes the people that have iconic roles like that, they just don't want to talk about it. They kind of, and it's like, well, it's kind of the horse that got you there, And
dude, what's great is like I got very lucky to hang out with a couple people recently, Jimmy Buffett and Mark Hamill, and they put perspective for me on what celebrity is and what fame is and what art is, and for the most part, to never forget what got you to the race, never forget what got you there, and to be appreciative of the people that may only know you for that one thing, may only know Margaritaville, may only know Star Wars, may not know. I mean, look, Mark's been killing it lately. He's a voice of Joker. He does What We Did in the Shadows. He's awesome in. And I think people are going to see this movie and love it. But he's very cool if the only thing you've seen is Star Wars. And I can understand that because there's a lot of people that go, oh yeah, The Machine, and I'm like, yes. And they're like, dude, do you do other stories? And I'm like, I've done 4 Netflix specials. I'm doing my 5th in November. But yeah, of course. But I'm glad you know me.
Yeah, right. That's amazing. Now I want to ask you because another common story is that the Van Wilder movie was based on you in this Rolling Stone article from the 90s when you were in college, and they named you like the number one party guy. Now, the one thing I didn't know, and tell me if this is true or not, Oliver Stone originally bought the rights to that. Is that true?
Yeah, well, bought is a loose term, but
okay.
Yes. So when I got written up in Rolling Stone magazine in 1997, and it was a big deal. Did a bunch of interviews, and then Oliver Stone's company optioned the rights to my life. We didn't make any money off of it. It was like a free option, but based on the fact that I wasn't anyone at the time, it made sense, and then that gave me the kind of the confidence to move to New York and start stand up. And what's crazy is I ran into Oliver Stone like 2 weeks ago at a party, Chinese New Year's party.
Wow.
We're at the same house, we're at the same party, and I'm like, I've been wanting to say thank you to him, just a simple thank you. I don't need to say much. I just want him to know that without him, I would have never had the confidence to get into stand up. My dad believed in me because of Oliver Stone, and I wouldn't be sitting where I was today, touring in arenas and big theaters and making movies and doing TV shows and having successful podcasts if it wasn't for him. And I got the opportunity to say that to him. And of course, I was drunk and I was shirtless and I messed it up and I confused him and he was lost and he was like, I'm confused. You party? And I'm like, okay, this is going wrong. I messed it up so bad. I fire hosed him and then I transitioned to a story about Good Morning America and seeing him there. And then I walked away and my wife's like, you could have just said, hi, I'm Bert. I'm a comedian. That's it. You could have just said that. And I was like, I messed it up so bad.
Oh, my God. Oh, because I would love to see an Oliver Stone directed movie of your life. I mean, that would have been a whole. I mean, it was just like, Bert Kreischer invented OxyContin as a conspiracy to bring down the moral fabric of the country, or something, in an Oliver Stone fashion. I think Van Wilder would have been a complete.
Well, I can tell you after that meeting, that is definitely not happening.
Oh yeah, it's too bad. You should have brought up disc golf. I bet Oliver Stone disc golf.
Yeah, he was. You can see the picture of me and him on my Instagram. I am shirtless. I am ruby face drunk. And he is not happy to be in that picture.
That is hilarious. Well, I just wanted to, that was true. That's crazy. Well, hey, listen, Bert, I got to wrap it up here. Thank you so much for checking in. You're going to be at the Hanover Theater here in Worcester, March 25th. And you can go to thehanovertheater.org to get your tickets there. And again, my invitation will always be open if you are here and you have time that day and you want to check out the #1 ranked disc golf course in the country. Please be my guest at Maple Hill Disc Golf, and we'll have a good time, man. Definitely. You can get my contact info from Alan at Daybreaker.
I will. Right? I'm sending a text to my team right now to set it up.
That'd be great, man. You just let me know, and we'll go out and we'll throw. We'll have a great time. It's a beautiful course.
I can't wait. Oh, it's going to be beautiful, too.
It's going to be awesome,
brother. Thank you for a great interview.
Yeah, thank you, man. We appreciate it, and we'll see you over here at the Hanover at the end of the month, man. Thanks, and good luck.
Awesome.